Hi, I'm Dr. John Main. What we're going to do right now is we're going to go ahead and how to make a smoothie or a shake, depends on what you want to call it. My little boys, 3-year-old twin boys, they actually call it their bottle because this is kind of what they transition to. And what I make right now is actually what I make for ourselves basically every morning for breakfast. The kids have one and then I make that they share, and then I have one for myself. So I'm just going to kind of go through the ingredients as I kind of make it. Pretty easy to make. I don't know if you guys are familiar with a magic bullet. Basically just uses a little canister like that. It's kind of an inverted blender, just like that. There's numerous other things on the market very similar. This one seems to work about the best from my experience, the different ones. Granted, it is the third one I've had, so they do have pieces that do break, plastic pieces, so that's just how it is. They're not too expensive, but you can find them at Walmart or almost any store around is going to have things like that. So going through this, basically what we're going to start out with is I just have one of the mixer containers. I have a little bit of hot water in there right now, which might seem like an odd thing to start with, but I'm going to be adding coconut oil to that. And coconut oil, you're going to get a lot of medium chain fatty acids, and it's one of the things that people lack a lot of in their diet. So just a tablespoon or so of that, kind of whatever you want. The reason for the warm water is actually so that melts. Otherwise, if you try to put it in a regular cold shake to begin with, it stays kind of chunky. It doesn't really blend up very well. Next, we're also going to have is some coconut milk. It also has really good fats in it, great for energy. It doesn't have a lot of the stigma as long as a lot of the other fats do. There's really nothing negative to say about coconut oil and coconut milk. From a health standpoint, everything is really positive about it. So here, we'll just go ahead and put in, say, a quarter of a can or so of that in there. And then this, you're going to throw it on the blender, or even just mix it up. Having a little bit of the warm water in there will offset that. Then once you have that done, if you wanted it colder later, you could always add ice to it and those kind of things. But what we're going to do is we're actually going to add hemp milk. And I always get the unsweetened. You don't need anything else added to it. Everything here is organic. You really don't find organic hemp milk, but it's just unsweetened, so it's about the best I can do. Everything else is organic, raw, just the absolute best nutrition you can find. So we're going to go ahead and put a little bit of that in there. And the reason for the hemp milk is it also has great fats, but it's also an excellent protein source. It is vegan, so it's not from a meat source, and hemp is extremely digestible from a protein standpoint. Most people are looking for, okay, what are some other alternative sources for protein if you're going to start having a little bit less meat or being a little bit more careful about what meats you're choosing. Hemp milk or hemp seeds, those kind of things are just another great alternative to that. So then moving into the protein, there's really two different proteins that I recommend that I like. One is the Warrior Protein, and these are from Health Force Nutritionals. This is going to be most of the products that I have. And these are products that we have in the office, but the reason they're there is because of products that I use at home. Everything that I use at home is what we have found through basically my research, what is the absolute highest quality product that's on the market. So all these are 100% organic, even beyond organic standards. They're 100% raw, they're 100% vegan. There's nothing compromised about the person that makes these products, and it's simply the best I can find. Also from a price standpoint, because that also matters, they are a lot better from a price standpoint than a lot of inferior products out there. So it's kind of, to me, it's a win-win. So with this guy, we'll just use a spoon, get a little bit of scoops of protein. Most people in the US actually get too much protein. You don't need near as much as people think. But even if you just focus, okay, I'm gonna get, say, 20 grams per meal, you're gonna have plenty. So there's not a worry from that. The great thing about this protein, even though it's vegan, somebody's worried about, okay, am I getting it complete amino acids? It is 100% complete. It is also extremely digestible. It's very similar to mother's milk. That's also the same thing with a Sun Warrior protein that we also have in the office, which is typically what people actually like more than this one. because it's a little bit smoother. It actually blends up a little bit more. This one I'll say it actually has a little bit chalky. So the Sun Warrior, if you're a little more on the consistency of things and texture, I would recommend the Sun Warrior protein. Next thing we're going to add in is activated barley. It is a sprouted grain. It's been around for thousands of years, and it's a complex carbohydrate, so it has a very slow burning. We'll just do about a half tablespoon there. So it gives great energy. It also has something in it called beta glucan, so it is an immune booster at the same time. The next one, and the activated barley, is from Sun Warrior, along with that same protein that I usually recommend. The rest of the stuff is all Health Force Nutritionals. This one is Vitamin Mineral Green. It is basically it's what it says, it's a vitamin and mineral. It is entirely whole food bound. I can't even list you all the ingredients in here because it would take too long. It is so full of just the very dense, highly nutritious nutrients, but it gives your body also the phytonutrients, the trace minerals. It's also loaded with probiotics in the billions, but not from 3 sources like you typically get from, say, milk or peel promote yogurt. There's like 3 different strains of things in there. This has about, I think it's up to 20 different strains of probiotics in here. It's just phenomenally dense. So this one, I actually recommend people start out fairly small with your amount, because it is, it's not designed to be flavorful. It's designed to be a vitamin mineral and of the highest potency. So for myself, I take a lot more. And the boys have kind of moved up theirs as well. The next one is Earth. What this is basically based more on roots, and so it's really a unique. I don't know of a single company that has something of this nature even on the market that has lots of roots. It really goes. It's a complement to the Vitamin or Green, but it has a completely different twist on it from that standpoint. This one I do a smaller amount. Okay, next we have the Zeoforce, which is basically a daily detoxifier. My favorite thing about this one is the fact you can actually mix it with foods. I've done a ton of detox in my life, basically just because I'm trying to get myself well. I was sick for decades, and that's really how I got to this point. I've had to do so much research and try so many things to get myself well. And so many of the things like activated carbon, charcoal, those kind of things, not only pull out bad things, toxins, heavy metals, and things of that nature. However, they also pull out everything good. They'll pull out all the vitamins and minerals along with it. Zeoforce actually won't do that. It actually has a negative charge to it, so it'll actually bind to environmental toxins and heavy metals, but it will not take out any of the nutrition from the food. So it's a really easy way to add just a little bit of that into every shake I have as well. Most people have some exposure to heavy metals in their system, whether it's lead from your mom who grew up in the lead generation, or it's mercury from injections or fillings, or an environmental exposure. There is no question that we're exposed to a lot of environmental toxins just on a daily basis. So to me, it's one of those things where it's just a necessity. As I said, this is the exact same thing that I have, that my kids have as well. This is basically fruits of the earth, so it's a very wide variety of different fruits, a little more of the exotic fruits that you're not typically gonna find that are powdered. Everything is done, again, everything's raw and organic, but everything's also done at low temperature to preserve the nutrient content of things as well. A smoothie wouldn't be done without a little bit of a sweetener in there, so we're gonna use stevia. Stevia is a great sweetener. It's not the same as sugar. However, just probably a teaspoon or so. It does not have any effect on blood sugar. So it's great for adding things like this if you need to add a sweetener but are worried about blood sugar and those kind of things. Basically, at this point, this for myself would be done. I'd simply put the top on, put it on the magic bullet, and blend it up, and then I'd be good to go. I'd have breakfast right there. I might add a piece of fruit or something like that to it afterwards, or even, you know, it could have something else as well. But this is how I start the day every day. For my boys, what I'll actually do is basically from Systemic Formulas, it's Kid Play. It's a little vitamin for them. It's just really easy to digest. I will actually take a dropper of that, put it in there for them, so that that's there. Another thing that I have daily is basically acai resveratrol, which is an antioxidant. Myself, I'll just take a couple of the capsules, but for the boys, I'll actually open one up and put it in there itself. So there's a lot of antioxidants in here already, but with the constant burden that we're subjected to basically with the environment and with the stress and everything else, you really can't have enough when it comes to antioxidants to basically try to ward those things off. And the last thing that we're going to talk about is myself, basically just these little capsules. I just have a couple of these every day. But for my boys, I would actually take one. They're a gel, put a knife in the end of it and squeeze it in there, and usually end up with little orange tips of my fingers from it. But it's basically from a company called Nutrex in Hawaii. It's bioastin, and there's also another one that we have a lot of, it's omega astin. But what it is, it's astaxanthin. It is a, basically, almost want to say a revolutionary antioxidant, but it's a red algae, so it's really nothing new about it. It's just something that we didn't know really was there, and how to use it. The amazing thing about this compared to other antioxidants is the fact that it can actually cross the blood-brain barrier. So it can actually, an antioxidant, which is basically to kind of stop and prevent damages that's occurring to your cells through oxidation or from stresses and those kind of things. However, it's only going to do any good if the antioxidant can get to it. There's not really many antioxidants that can cross the blood-brain barrier. This is actually the only one that I know of off the top of my head that is readily available in a plant form. So it can actually cross in the brain and help prevent damage to the brain. So you're looking at Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, those kind of diseases. It can also get into the eyes. And so there it can actually help with macular degeneration and those kind of things. So it's really amazing from that standpoint. So my boys, I would actually take 2 of these and drip them in there as far as that goes. Again, antioxidants, you really can't have enough. And this one is truly amazing. Nothing's more valuable to your body than your nervous system, and it all starts at the brain. So at this point, we just screw this guy back on. Tip it over, magic bullet, twist, helps you have it plugged in. And that's it. I would recommend if people are going to start with something, just start with a couple things. Maybe start with the protein and then the vitamin mineral green, and then along with that, maybe add some of the coconut milk and then a little bit of stevia. And then once you kind of get acclimated to that, because this is a phenomenal amount of nutrition. It's truly amazing how much is here. Literally, what's right here, it'd be easy for me to say it's probably more than most people get in a week as far as nutrition, and that's just something that we'll have every single day. But just as you go on, just keep adding a little more. You can increase the quantity that you're putting in the vitamin green, or start adding a little bit of something else to it, and just go down the line. This really isn't a complete list of everything that's possible out there, but this is a phenomenal product line, and whether you get it in our office or get it online, again, it's Health Force Nutritionals, and then Sun Warrior for those, and then this one is Nutrex, and it's absolutely amazing products. So I hope that just helps you and your family. So thank you. Until next time.